Welcome to VyCast, where we bring a blend of knowledge, expertise, and fun to the world of finance. Stay tuned for our exciting episode packed with insights and practical tips that will help you achieve your financial goals. Hi, everybody. Today we are talking credit cards, everything, the latest trends, the best practices, how to make sure you have the right card, and how to make sure your card works for you. And here to tell us all about it is Chris Carrera. She's VyStar's resident credit card expert. Chris, we're so excited to have you here today.
Thanks, Charlene, very much.
We're excited to have you here because I've never met anybody who's more excited about credit cards. Well, except when we get a new credit card, you know all things credit cards.
Yeah, I'll tell you, the last 35 years has been fun in payments. It's very innovative and very fast-paced.
All right, so let's talk about this. The average American has 3 credit cards in their wallet that they carry around.
True.
But there are literally millions of credit card options out there for the consumer. So how do you know which card is the right card for you and your lifestyle?
Yeah, I mean, the cool part is we're all different individuals, right? So as you said, the millions of credit card offers that are out there, they really cater to the individual. So if you are one, you don't have credit, you're repairing your credit, you're building your credit, there's a card for you. If you are one to, hey, I'm not going to carry a balance, or I am going to carry a balance, 55% of Americans are now paying their card off every month. But hey, there's a lot of people that aren't. So fees, finance charges, annual fees, that might be really important.
If
so
you're
the
carrying that
cost,
balance.
Exactly. The cost of a card should be on your radar as far as your selection. And then the fun part is rewards. So a lot of Americans, a lot of consumers are out there searching for the best reward offer. And that's cash back, it's trips, it's rewards to charity, you name it. There's so many different options
Points,
out there.
all the points that you can get as well. All right, well, so we've kind of gone through that it's important to find the card that fits really your lifestyle and your budget too. I mean, if you're going to be carrying a balance, if you're not going to be carrying a balance. So since you're the expert, I want to know, how do you get those cards to really work for you? I got to be honest with you, it's hard to keep up with all that stuff. And I had friends who are diligent about the latest, best offer that they can get. So we're asking you to pick your brain and say, how do you really make those cards work for you so that you maximize the perks and the benefits?
So you called me the expert. And from an industry standpoint, definitely, I would say I am in that category. But the consumers are really the experts. Man, they definitely know that reward game, what card to use for what purchase. For instance, there's a 3-2-1 card out there. We actually at VyStar have a 3-2-1 card.
Okay.
Every time you spend, 3% goes to cash, 2% goes to grocery, 1% for everything else. If you are an everyday spender, right, you use your card for gas, groceries, and every day, this card is definitely for you. If you're a traveler, and I think you and I talked about you're a traveler.
I'm a traveler. I do love I like status.
You like the status.
Let's just say that I really like the status.
There's a travel card, right? So every time you are on United Airlines, and we call it a co-brand card, you will get probably additional points for flying United versus Southwest. So there's a lot of loyalty that is built into that. A lot of psychology that is built into this whole rewards game as well. When I mentioned building your credit, right? So
right. You did. A lot of folks, either they have to build their credit or they don't have credit. They have to establish their credit or repair their credit.
Yeah. Now, rewards usually doesn't come along with that. That is a different lifestyle or life cycle, I should say, that you're in, building your credit. And you're really focused on making sure that you spend and then you pay back, right? Build that credit history. But what's cool is there's a lot of issuers out there that will look at how you're paying back your card and start rewarding you either with a lower APR, higher credit limit, or start implementing rewards into kind of this graduation program that you have with your card issuer. So there's a lot of things to look at outside of just rewards and the dollars and the points, but what other kind of behavioral rewards, we call it, can they actually give to you? Yeah.
I did not know that they will lower your APR for you.
Absolutely.
Oh my goodness, I didn't know that. See, good paying on time, good behavioral awards. I did not know that. All right, so I got to ask you, I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit. What have you worked with your credit cards to really, benefit big?
Yeah, as I said, depending on the life cycle that you're in, I think the best card at the time is when my kids were going to school. There was a great program that every time I used my card, that was like the spend, the percent, and I think it was 5 cents went back to the school. So I'm, really, as I'm spending, I'm rewarding really the school and the teachers and, the classroom and all of that. That made me feel really good. I remember on my statement, it would show me every month how much I'm giving back to the school. And it was definitely a feel good. I felt that me giving back was better than airline rewards.
Well, I love how altruistic you are.
See?
And VyStar has branches in high schools, an opportunity to have those cards so that families can use those cards and give back to their schools.
That's very true. We have 18, which is awesome. And, working really closely with them on spend campaigns and just getting that education out there. Now, that's actually with a debit card. Debit cards and credit cards, completely different. People still use them for different type of spend. So we have to, at times, just remember, everyday spend, how are people actually using those cards? With the high school program, debit transactions, and it is truly 5 cents that goes back to the school. So that's awesome.
Oh, and it's also exciting to get kids learning about financial wellness and the responsibility of using money at an early age in that high school age.
Yeah, it starts even before high school. I mean, you will see there's a lot of programs out there like our high school debit card that get kids into that financial literacy early. We talked a little bit about before this. We talked a little bit about credit cards getting you in trouble. Credit cards don't get you in trouble. You kind of get yourself into trouble if you don't have a good budget. So teaching our kids early on what a good budget is, don't overspend, spend within your means, just truly understanding about what it takes to pay back that debt on a monthly basis. I mean, those are just some good basic foundational financial metrics to have, in your everyday life.
And Chris, do you have any suggestions that if somebody does find that they have overspent or they've gotten themselves in a little bit of trouble? Because, man, there's nothing like a sleepless night when you're getting that bill that comes in that you can't pay. Do you have any suggestions on how somebody maybe can pull it back and get ahead so that they don't risk ruining their credit?
Yeah, no, that's a really good question. And, most credit card companies, as I mentioned, 55% of Americans pay off their balance each month. But you also have the option of paying back maybe 2% of the balance each month. So, to have a minimum payment of 2% of the balance, that does help. Not to continue to spend, like you said, maybe hold back a little bit. Look for some other offers out there. There are some great balance transfer offers that are lower than your average APR. So look out for those promotional offers, even for a new card that may give you $150 back if you spend $1,500 in the first 3 months, right? There's a lot of gimmicks out there as well, but it all goes into your pocket. So it's great.
Good advice. All right. Now, I want to ask you this, because when you do use that card, there is a risk with that card. It used to be back in the day, you'd get your statement, you'd see something and you'd go, I didn't buy that. And then you'd call and wait and get a hold of some account representative and then dispute the charge. And then they would get back to you. And then you'd have to maybe get rid of your card and get a new card.
Sounds like you've experienced that.
It's just it's just such a hassle and so old school. Yeah. So I know today with, all the technology that we have. So can you share with us a little bit? I know you don't want to give away all of our secrets, all the VyStar secrets, but what can you share to maybe, give some confidence to the consumer that, hey, VyStar's on it?
We have an incredible team, a fraud team that is looking at AI, behavioral spend. We use a layered fraud method, which means there's other products and services to predict, is this your purchase? And Charlene, based on your spend, it could be, you spend every day, but then you see a very large, let's say, jewelry purchase. That's not your typical. So they will evaluate that transaction before it even goes through and possibly push out an alert to you saying, Charlene, did you make a charge or attempt to charge for $1,500? And you can send back a no back on your text, and then that would actually put it into a fraud queue. So in addition to not giving you away all the secrets, but it definitely is an art and science. We don't want to decline a valid transaction, right? That whole frictionless purchasing, we want to make purchasing very easy to do if it's you. But the other thing outside of just the technology that we're layering with AI and everything else, we really rely on our cardholders to be aware. So spoofing and bad actors. When someone calls you to say, Charlene, may I have your credit card number and your PIN? Don't give it.
Oh, no, please. Right? I hope I hope everybody listening and watching to us right now knows better.
It's amazing. The bad guys are amazing. And even, in fact, I just received a text yesterday saying I have a UPS package, enter in your debit card number as verification and we'll release the package to you. No.
Yeah.
Right? We at VyStar, and I know other issuers and banks, they say that they will not, right, ask you for your information like that. And that's very true. So if it doesn't feel right, do not give out any of your personal information, especially credit card information.
And they try to get you at a time when you're busy,
yeah.
right? So that you're not thinking it through because you're in the middle of 10 different things and then boom, they hit you. And I will tell you, I'm so paranoid. I actually got a text saying, hey, we think, we want to question this purchase.
Sure.
Did you make it? And I ignored it because I'm like, oh, that's just somebody trying to get my information. Sent it again. I ignored it. And then I went to use my credit card. My credit card didn't work. So I called them and they said, oh yeah, that was us. We just wanted to make sure that this was legitimately you. And I was like, yes, it's legitimately me. And I did recently travel overseas. You mentioned I love to travel. Yeah. And I was kind of waiting for them to say, oh, hey, is this you, when I was in a foreign country? But then I realized, to your point of how you watch behavior, I bought the ticket on the card. So obviously what you're telling me is they saw me buy the ticket, so they knew I was going to be traveling.
Absolutely. In fact, they knew every leg of your trip. So if you had a layover in London, let's say, and you used your card in Heathrow, we knew based on that SKU level data is what we call it, down to that level data, that itinerary data, I should say, that, yeah, you're going to stay in Heathrow maybe for a couple hours and then you'll head to your final destination. And you're right. You bought it on the card. We knew you were going to be there. It is you. So let's not disrupt you. Now, if we feel otherwise, we will send you a text and say, Charlene, are you sure this is not you? Please call the credit card company back and, validate yourself in the appropriate way without giving out personal information, and then see what happens next, which is unblocking your card or whatever the case may be.
Well, while we're on this topic, if you don't mind, I'd like to know. So say if you are traveling and say you get pickpocketed, because that's everybody talked about, oh, you're going to, you got to watch out for the pickpockets. So could you give us some advice on what to do if you are traveling or if something like that does happen to you?
Yeah, well, first, I would call your credit card company and say that you're traveling, during this time at these locations, just as another safety net. So that's the first thing to do. The second is definitely keep your card in your possession. But there's so many digital cards out there. So when you push your card or enter it into your Apple Wallet, into your Samsung Wallet, you don't have to have a physical plastic, really. In fact, it's almost 70% of U.S. point-of-sale terminals. You can do the tap and go with your wallet, with your mobile wallet. So instead of carrying a credit card, carry your wallet or
that's a good idea.
Your phone,
yeah.
which has your card embedded, which
That's
is
a good
tokenized. Tip. You do not have the credit card number there. So like I said, we have all these layered safety nets that prevent fraud from happening. But yeah, that mobile wallet is pretty cool.
All right. Well, on that subject, mobile wallet, different generations tend to use different cards different ways, right? QR codes are making a comeback, but some folks, they're not going to do the QR code or they're not going to have an Apple Wallet. They're old school. They barely use a credit card to begin with. So let's talk about like the Gen Xers and the millennials and the Gen Zs, because I know you are all on top of trends and how different people use different cards. So give us some insight into some generational differences on how we use credit.
So generational differences, they're all about rewards. So they love the instant gratification. They love local rewards. They will actually pay annual fees to have a good reward program. And that is aspirational rewards like travel. Right?
Now, which generation are we talking about?
We're talking about
X, Z, millennial, boomer? How are we talking about?
No, it's X and Z. So
X
I'm
and
talking
Z,
about X and Z at this point in time.
Oh, wait, I'm a Gen X.
See?
So
are you
I'm going to call myself young.
Okay.
Okay, we'll go with that.
So the other part is digital. They don't want to see statements. In fact, if they never get a piece of mail, they don't want to see any kind of communication unless it's on their phone. So that two-way texting, setting alerts on their phone, seeing their credit card transactions on their phone, did they make that spend, their available credit, all digital as well as self-service. So if you don't have a program that allows them to make a payment by their mobile phone or their desktop, you probably aren't going to be attracting that generation. And like I said, really good rewards, and they want it easy. I said frictionless. They don't want to be declined when their shopping cart is full. They want that transaction to go through, and then they want to see the reward on the other end of it, kind of in real time.
Now, I heard something about biometric.
Oh, yeah.
That's coming out so that you don't even
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Is it on you? Is it in you? What does that mean, biometric?
There's a lot of that, and it is all around. Europe really has set the stage as far as some of the really cool innovation. And Europe has had contactless cards for years, longer than the U.S. has. I did see a focus group, actually, when we were launching some innovation products. And one is having biometrics in a dog leash. Why a dog leash? Because when you're walking your dog, you want to go get a cup of coffee, you tap the leash on the terminal, and then you're on your way. Biometrics in snow mittens or in gloves when you're skiing. You don't want to be fumbling for a credit card.
Makes sense. It makes sense when you think about it, right?
You tap and go with that. And the coolest thing, and honestly, this is a huge trend right now, and it'll be interesting to see when it makes it to the U.S., but with women that wear false nails, there is a chip that is embedded in one of the nails, and you just tap your nail and you go.
So is that a nail that you put on and glue onto yourself?
Yeah, absolutely.
You better not break that nail.
No, but if you do, then there's a lot of protection around it.
All right, I love that.
Is that cool?
You have to keep us updated on that. You have to come back and keep us updated on that. Okay, so VyStar is launching this super exciting credit card campaign. Oh, look, you can barely contain yourself. Okay, so I'll let you take it from here. The Endless Summer Sweepstakes.
Endless Summer Sweepstakes, and it's going on now through August 13th. So it's a good long campaign. Mm-hmm. If you have a VyStar card, right, any credit card, including a business card, every time you swipe that card or tap or dip your card, as we say, every time you use it, you are entered into the sweepstakes. Every time. In addition to that, you also are earning your regular rewards that I was talking about. So it's kind of a 2-for-1, really. When you enter in for the sweepstakes.
What are you entering to win?
The grand prize is 3 million points. You would not believe what you can get for 3 million points. You could get like a 20-day cruise in the Mediterranean, plus more, plus the Tumi luggage. It's amazing how much 3 million points, and that's equal to $30,000.
$30,000.
That's the grand prize.
Yeah, now I see cruise. You said fancy luggage.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Oh my goodness. And you could really stretch that out to last a good long time.
So if you don't have a VyStar card, I definitely encourage you to get one. By the time that you apply and get the card to you, like I said, that's why we kept the campaign going until August 13th. In addition to that, there's 8 VIP community awards that we're giving out. Once again, every time you swipe your card, dip your card, that you're actually entered into those type of sweepstakes as well, or that sweepstakes prize.
So there's 8 to last kind of almost like every week over the summer.
Exactly.
And those are VIP events that you can get a suite at
Jumbo Shrimp?
Yeah, the Jumbo Shrimp. This goes all the way from our markets in Georgia through Central Florida. And so you can get opportunities at the Ghost Pirates.
Savannah
Ghost Pirates, a suite with parking. Now, you're not a VIP unless you get Rockstar parking.
And we included parking.
And all kinds of exciting events.
Yeah, dinner and gift cards. Like you said, Dr. Phillips in Orlando. There's some great suites and great events. So it's all on our website as well. And I know I can't rattle them all off, but it's pretty cool.
And you can bring a bunch of people with you too.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
You can kind of show everybody a good time.
Yeah, we are having so much fun with it.
Well, Chris, thank you so much for joining us today. It's been such a pleasure to talk to you. I mean, we all get excited when we talk about going shopping and spending, but you get more excited than anybody else, I think.
It's fun. It's a lot of fun.
All right, thanks so much for joining us, and we look forward to chatting with you again and have you come back on at the end of the sweepstakes.
Oh yeah.
Oh, we'll talk all about the winners.
And I would love to meet the winners. I can't wait.
Okay.
That's going to be awesome.
Thanks so much, Chris. Yeah. And just a reminder, VyStar's Endless Summer Sweepstakes kicked off June 19th, 2023, and runs until 11:59 on August 13th, 2023. The Endless Summer Sweepstakes is only open to legal Florida and Georgia residents who are 18 or older as of June 19th, 2023, and is void where prohibited. No purchase is necessary to enter or play the game promotion. To learn more about how to enter and find the complete rules, go to vystarcu.org/summer. And if you're one of our viewers, just click on that QR code on the right top corner of your screen. Well, we have even more fun things to talk about this summer. It's time to see what's happening on our VyStar member perks, and there's always something happening. And we have your captain of fun, Joe Daraskovich. He is all things members perks. Joe, thanks so much for joining us today.
You're welcome. Yeah, it's great to be here. This is an exciting topic, and I'm kind of excited about it.
I know, this is in your wheelhouse. All right, let's talk about VyStar member perks. What are they, and how do you use them?
Well, obviously, you think about a credit union, you think, financial services, you think about mortgages, but at VyStar, we like to offer a little bit more. It depends on, if you're a fan of museums, if you're a fan of sports teams, we've sort of got something for everybody, especially depending on the season. Summertime, baseball, wintertime hockey, there's a lot going on, and we try to give a little extra discount for some of our members.
Awesome. So let's talk about over the summer, since it's summertime, what can you get by being a member and using your perks?
Right. And so here in Jacksonville, we've got the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp. It's a minor league baseball team affiliated with the Miami Marlins of Major League Baseball. And the big thing with the Shrimp is every Wednesday when they're in town, we have the Good is Everywhere Wednesdays. And that means you can get buy one, get one tickets, but you can also get 20% discounts at the VyStar souvenir store. And now, say you're there on a Tuesday or a Saturday and it doesn't happen to be a Good as Everywhere Wednesday, you can still get a discount at the souvenir store, but it's 10%. So if you see something in the souvenir store and you're like, I really got to get that, maybe go back on a Wednesday, you can get a little bit more of a discount.
Or you can get it if you can be like, well, I get the 10%.
Right. Exactly.
Okay. So also only in Jacksonville, because I know we're in Georgia and all the way into Central Florida.
Right. So we also like we have perks every season. We have perks in basically every region as well. So Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp, but when it comes to hockey season, we've got the Orlando Solar Bears, we've got the Savannah Ghost Pirates, but we also just launched the new train at the Central Florida Zoo and Botanical Gardens, and it's a pretty neat train. It's down to scale, so children really love it, and it kind of goes through some nature trails and things like that. But the really neat thing about it is, you show your VyStar card and you get 20% discount on train rides. So that's something really nice in Central Florida.
That is cool. And that train comes in real handy when you've been walking around that park with kids, that zoo with kids, and you need to take a nap.
Right.
You get on that train and the kids, everybody takes like a little power nap on the train.
Right. And yeah, especially summertime. It's hot,
No, I'm telling you.
But also for zoo lovers, I know we were talking about Jacksonville and Central Florida. At the Jacksonville Zoo and Gardens, we also have a 10% discount on annual memberships. So if you're a VyStar member, there's a promo code for that one. But yeah, you get a little bit of a discount if you're planning to go to the zoo a lot. So that's summertime, wintertime, all year long.
All right. And so what if you're not a member? How do you benefit? We know that VyStar contributes so much to the community, and a lot of those things are really designed to really, allow families and folks to go and enjoy our city.
Right. Well, and part of our sponsorships, we put forth money into the communities, and places like the Cummer Museum and Gardens. That one on Tuesdays, the second and third Tuesdays of every month, the entire community is invited. So, bring your family, bring your friends. You don't have to be a VyStar member, but it's because of the VyStar sponsorship that gives you that discount.
That's awesome. All right. So I know you've got a lot of things, and as you said, maybe they change seasonally. You get perks and benefits throughout the year. So how do you find out what's coming up next, what you can tap into?
Well, there's several ways. We have on the website, you can go to vystarcu.org/perks, and we got everything right there for you.
That's easy enough.
Yeah, pretty easy. Or you go up the tab of, on the top of the website, we've got a drop down. You can find, all the perks there as well. But also we'll send emails. If something's relevant, we'll send you an email at the beginning of the season. If, basketball season's coming up, we also have an Orlando Magic perk. So just look for your email. We'll keep you informed.
Awesome. All right, Joe, thanks so much for joining us.
Yeah.
We want you to come back all the time and let us know what fun things are happening.
Always something fun.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody, for joining us. And, this is where we're going to talk about how to make the most out of your money and how being a VyStar member gives you extra access to fun events in your community. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you next time.